Caitlin Clark has barely recovered from her incredible rookie season, and already the disrespect is mounting. With the 2025 WNBA draft just over, some of the league's newest players are already subtly disparaging her. Whether it's through media appearances, social media games, or viral moments, it seems like Clark's name is the go-to choice for firepower. But the truth is that this isn't a warning sign for Clark, rather it's fuel. It's a recurrence of the same pattern: hype, hate, dominance. She's seen this before. She's ready. Hailey Van Lith was selected by the Chicago Sky, and as a content creator who produces WNBA videos, thank you, Jeff Paglaka, because you can be sure you had better believe that all of this rivalry is good for the game. But Hailey Van Lith, oh, you gave a poor response, especially since you were playing the Fever Game 1. I hope that Caitlin Clark, who has played Kate the last 2 times, put 40 on her team's head, put 40 on her head directly once. Let's talk about Hailey Van Lith, who was recently drafted by the Chicago Sky. Her start bench cut response, in which she cut Caitlin Clark, was heard clearly. While it's bold for most rookies to take aim at a player who has already dropped 40 on your head, for Clark, it's not. We're going to leave Hailey Van Lith until the end. It's a start, bench, and cut. So we're going to take a look at the start, bench, and cut. So Rivers saying start them all. Georgia Murray refused to respond, saying instead that she'll sit on the bench. If history is any indication, she doesn't just respond, she erupts. Clark doesn't forget these things. When the ball tips off in Game 1, you can be sure she's already visualized the scoreboard. I'm going to start Caitlin nose ball, and I'm just going to say this. If it's cool right now, the easiest thing to do is to say, cut Terracy, she's 42. However, if we're talking about all time, you know what you probably start Terracy? Like Terracy, like there's a difference between disrespect and playful competition, and Hailey's choice landed closer to the latter. It's not just about her pick, it's about the timing. Game 1 of the season against Indiana, after having already been torched by Clark in college. This is more than rivalry, it's reckless motivation, and Clark has demonstrated. Hailey's comment may have been lighthearted, but Clark doesn't play light. Instead, she plays with purpose. If you give her a reason to turn up the heat, she doesn't waste it. For example, if we're talking about star Caitlin right now, you clearly cut Dossie, but she's been historically better than she was better than Sabrina in college, and she's better now and 4 years younger. Bench Sabrina. And I'm going to cut Deanna Dom on that answer. Even though that's the GOAT, I still have to do what I have to do. And yeah, be smart. Don't piss off your opponents too much. I would start Deanna Taurasi. I would bench Caitlin Clark, and I would cut, stab, shout out, new brand, shout out, reincarnation of Elena Delle Donne. Please note that this isn't a rivalry that was born out of intense competition. Rather, it's a contest between Clark and the entire WNBA establishment, the older generation of players, the newly drafted class, and even some media voices. It's one thing to be good, but it's another to be disrespected while you're good. That's when history is written, and right now, Caitlin Clark is the most dangerous version of her that we've seen. So yeah, I'm going to start DT bench Caitlin, and I'm going to bench Sabrina. I'm not cutting anybody. Start Diana bench Caitlin and cut Sabrina. That's our French GOAT right there.
That's future GOAT.
That's future GOAT. Answer. You know what? I suppose Terracy's best season was better than Caitlin Clark's last season. Since Diana Taurasi is retired, I can cut her. After that, I'm going to say, come on, you have to start your cousin Sonia. If you don't start your cousin, there's something wrong. Let's move on to Paige Buckers, a player who hasn't even played professionally yet and is already receiving criticism. This sounds familiar because it was Clark's rookie experience as well. The hate isn't based on reason. Rather, it's fear of losing the old WNBA to a new era of crowded arenas, widespread interest in business-driven athletes. It's not personal, it's inevitable. When the status quo sees change coming, there will always be pushback, but resistance. I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but the old WNBA fans have already turned, or, oh, well, not all of them, but there is a decent chunk of them that are already turning on Paige backers. Yeah, they're already turning on Paige backers, and you're probably wondering how they're doing it. It's like she hasn't played a game yet, but I'll talk a bit more about it. Buckers like Clark represent more than just a player. She represents a shift, and shifts make people uncomfortable. Absurd subscription. We're aiming for 44. We have a month to do it, but in any case, Paige is a very popular player. She will sell tickets, especially for the Dallas Wings. There is a vocal group of fans who are demanding more money and publicity while also complaining about sold-out games and rising ticket costs. This is cognitive dissonance. Clark and Buchers haven't ruined the game, they've elevated it. The truth is that this is what growing the sport looks like. More people watching, more competition, and yes, more financial gain. The Dallas Wings have moved their game against Caitlin Clark into a massive, into an NBA realistically. And do you want to know what the price of the tickets are? I actually thought it was going to be somewhat affordable because you know the 20,000 seaters there, to get a lower bowl ticket, you are paying $1.00 for. Then curse the symptoms of that growth. Empty seats didn't grow the game. Half-filled arenas didn't push player salaries. Superstars did. And Clark is at the center of that evolution, Wings. But let's talk about Clark's response. Not on Twitter or in the media, but on the hardwood. Her offseason wasn't about clapping back. Rather, it was about leveling up new angles to her game. Stronger body, smarter reads, and under Stephanie White's direction, she's getting ready to weaponize every ounce of potential. Clark's silence isn't weakness, it's calculation. While the commotion swirled, she got to work, and now the league's about in order to comply with the updated version 2. Although Caitlin Clark was excellent in her rookie season, she was obviously not flawless, and there are still some areas in which she can improve. The most noteworthy thing I mentioned was when she would pass up shots in the mid-range. I believe that improving her mid-range and floater game was essential to unlocking the rest of her game because although she was able to shoot better from three than she did in her rookie season, we know she was comfortable there. She finished at a great clip around the rim and is a fantastic passer and distributor, and I believe that she has improved defensively. Colleagues will assist her in that regard. Additionally, I've already discussed the upgraded coach, who was somewhat overlooked because it occurred so long ago, but Stephanie White understands that Clark is a generational talent, but she also recognizes what's lacking. The goal that makes Clark unpredictable, mid-range jumpers, off-ball actions, floaters, and cross-body finishes. Additionally, when you give a genius-level player new tools, you don't just get results, you get records. This isn't about correcting flaws, it's about honing weapons and coming up with new ideas for using them. Caitlin Clark has been putting in the necessary work in the lab, which is why I expect her to be an MVP. However, to get to the point I was making about Stephanie White, she was on the Good Follow show with Rosgold and Woody, and this is what she had to say. Another reason to believe in the boost of the fever and the blueprint, a multi-dimensional Clark is a nightmare matchup. You can't just blitz her at the top of the key. There is no static scouting report on Clark anymore. She is a moving target, and the more tools she adds, the harder it is to contain. The WNBA believed they saw her best last season, but they were mistaken about who will be making the decisions on the floor and on the sidelines. Caitlin Clark, you have a generational talent. That term is sometimes used, but I think it fits here. What aspects of her game would you like to work with her on this season? The W's level of physicality is completely different, so teams have to try to keep her off balance and maintain a low center of gravity. However, there are times when she plays somewhat upright, so it's crucial to ensure that she has core strength and the ability to move under pressure and maintain a low center of gravity. From a straight basketball perspective, I believe that we should help her diversify. Lastly, there's the physical side. WNBA defenders have tried everything from bumps to grabs to hand checks, but Clark has been in the lab adding core. You don't average better rim efficiency than A.A. Wilson by accident. That's athleticism, that's obsession, that's greatness. She's not just surviving physicality, she's mastering it. And if that wasn't scary enough, she's still growing, improving, and coming. Her finishing ability is diverse in the way that it's unpredictable, allowing her to be equal in terms of production and facilitation, going right and left, as well as having the ability to have different finishing looks, such as crossbody finishes, floaters at the rim, quick floaters, long floaters, or Euro. You can't be as fundamentally predictable as you are with as much athleticism, speed, and quickness, and the game plan will be geared toward her. Then, I believe, the challenge for us as coaches is how we get some rest when she's on the floor, such as when she's playing, and some of that will be using her as a screener to get her to play on the third and fourth side instead of the first and second. Her basketball IQ is often underestimated, and people focus on her shooting range, but it's the exceptional decision-making. Whether it's threading a no-look dime or baiting a switch for a mismatch, Clark sees we're not going to take away her skill with the ball, but we need to be able to vary how we use her. So from those kinds of challenges as well. I mean, we have like a short-term kind of list, and we have a long-term kind of list. But Caitlin, you know, I remember from the very first day when we working on balance, we were working on footwork, and we were looking at all those things from day one to day two. She's a perfectionist, and she wants it, and she's going to work on it. So every day we're practicing. You can hear Stephanie White's basketball intelligence, and I'll link the entire show in the description. Well, I did some shows on SiriusXM with Roz, with all of that in mind. Why would anyone poke the bear, especially rookies with no professional minutes? The answer is they don't know what's coming. Clark isn't just getting better, she's coming back to dominate. Hailey Van Lith, you are extremely fortunate that you will be sitting on the bench for the Chicago Sky this season, because Caitlin Clark is likely to do unimaginable things to your team the first time you play this season. For example, if you ever step onto the court to guard Caitlin Clark, you better be furious that your team selected Siva rather than Sia Rivers to guard Caitlin Clark. This is because whatever Caitlin Clark does to your team on May 16th or 17th, whenever the game is going to be violated, this May, when she plays Chicago, Hailey Van Lith will get her first taste of the professional game and of a locked-in Caitlin Clark. It won't be subtle. We're talking highlight reel passes, logo threes, and box scores that break social media. When Clark feels disrespected, she doesn't clap back. Instead, she blows the doors off arenas. Don't expect a smile while she's doing it. Expect dominance and a 40. The Geneva Convention and Anise Morrow, you know, Caitlin only dropped a 40 on your head once, so it's not too bad. She had 8 rebounds, 12 assists, and 2 boards off. I don't think Caitlin or Hailey Van disliked Kane Clarkson's Iowa or his Louisville game, but she probably realized at the top of the Empire State Builder 5 times, like Curry, LeBron, and WBY, did you just compare Sabrina Ionescu to Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionescu? You know, you realize that Caitlin Clark has made more All-NBA first teams than Sabrina Ionescu, right? You realize that Caitlin Clark has made more All-NBA first teams than Sabrina Ionescu. These aren't just matchups anymore. The disrespect has done something that wasn't intended to be done, and it's locked her in and locked in Clark. She's not someone you want to meet on a WNBA floor, but Sabrina is great. But there's no stratosphere where Sabrina is better than Caitlin Clark. It's just not true. Clark will see this and be more motivated than usual to show her great in his first game if last year's numbers were the floor. Then what's coming up? WNBA champion and reigning star Caitlin Clark shot 1 of 19 in Game 5. I apologize, but if she shoots 1 of 19 every game, the Fever would never win a single game, let alone defeat the damn Minnesota Lynx. Obviously, let alone the Lins. They're not winning shooting 1 of 19, but I'm sorry. Caitlin scored 31 points and dished out 12 assists, and you can hear it in her coach's voice and see it in the training footage. The league is about to witness something frightening, a faster, smarter, and stronger version of Clark, and she has a team that fully believes in her, not just as a scorer. Engine of a championship contender. This isn't just a comeback, it's a takeover of what she's doing now as well. However, with Caitlin Clark, you know, Stephanie White said some of what I said, and what happened last year was that Christy Sides had this offense where she thought, were going to work inside out. It was very traditional or old school, and it didn't exactly maximize Caitlin Clark. When things didn't go so well, sides finally gave in and gave Clark the keys, and Clark monopolized the entire offense, which is obviously effective. But a recurring theme, you've irritated the biggest psycho in the league now that Teresi's gone, and I mean that in a positive way. You never know when you'll have to write checks that Courtney Vanderloo will have. So let's get out in transition, and I ask the real question, are these new draft picks and loud critics ready for the storm they've called down? Because Clark isn't entering the season quietly. She's coming in with receipts, and if the preseason noise is any indication, she's going to cash all of them. We're going to have the money, and you know what? You might be thinking, oh, you know, Ariel Atkins can guard Caitlin Clark. However, unlike Caitlin Clark, Ari Kelsey Mitchell can just go meet me and just run by, oh my God, my voice is gone, and just run by a frickin' sloot for a layup. You'll have to sit in a 2-3 zone, and you'll have to hope that Angel Reed can block some shots because it's over. You've just given someone motivation. The question is, are these rookies writing checks they can't cash, or is the league about to watch the next level of brilliance from a player that defies boxing in? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications so you don't miss a second of the Clark Show's return.